So, here I am with another video. Today, let us discuss about Shirley Toulson and her poem, A Photograph. Shirley Toulson was an English poetess. She belonged to one of those progressive genres of poets who could express their agony or their angst through their words. The poetess was a visionary and has gone through much that helps us to define what it is to lose a loved one. In this poem, we find her contrasting the eternal state of nature and the transitory state of human beings. Nature is all about change, but here she laments about certain changes that are life's take, whereas nature moves at its snail's pace. The theme of the poem, A Photograph, is loss, memory, and the transience of life. It explores the truth that though death is inevitable, but in a strange way, they continue to live on in the form of memories. These memories are not just restricted to one's mind, but can also attain a tangible form such as photographs. Moving on with the message of the poem, a photograph describes the transient nature of human existence on earth, just like everything else. It is indeed these photographs that capture memories and help us relive the lost moments. The poem stresses on the fact that living a cheerful life is very necessary as the end is known and sure to come. Progressing with the central idea of the poem, Shirley Toulson's poem, A Photograph, is a tribute to her mother. The poem describes three stages in the passage of time. In the first stage, the photograph shows the poetess's mother standing at the beach enjoying her holiday with her two girl cousins. She was around 12 years old at that time. The second stage takes us 20 or 30 years later. The mother would laugh at the way she and her cousins were dressed up for the beach holiday. And in the third stage, the poetess remembers her dead mother with a heavy heart. The photograph revives a nostalgic feeling in the poetess. Let us now begin with a stanza-wise summary to get a better understanding of the poem. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. An old photograph of the poetess's mother, which was pasted on a cardboard, makes the poetess recall the old memories of her mother's childhood. The photograph is a depiction of her mother's enjoyable moments at a sea beach with her two cousins who were younger to her. They were walking in shallow water with bare feet near the beach. Her mother was standing in the middle and holding the hands of her two cousins who were standing on either side. The poetess's mother was 12 years old then. It shows that the photograph was very old, but the poetess has kept it very carefully as it reminds her of sweet memories of her mother's childhood. The photograph also indicates how enjoyable her mother's childhood was. Continuing with the remaining lines of stanza 1, all three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. The photograph shows all three girls standing and smiling at the camera when their uncle clicked their picture at the sea beach. As the weather was windy, their hair was flying over their smiling faces. The expression on their faces was that of happiness and enjoyment. The poetess's mother was looking very pretty at that time, and the photograph had been taken a long time ago before the poetess was born. Everything has changed since then. The only thing that has remained unchanged is the sea, which was washing the feet of all the three girls. The mention of the word transient indicates the ever changing lives of human beings as well as the shortness of their stay in this world, in contrast to the eternity of nature. Stanza 2. Some 20, 30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. See, Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. Both wry with the labored ease of loss. After 20, 30 years later, the mother would look at the photograph and laugh nostalgically, remembering the happy memories of her past. She would comment on the dresses worn by herself and her cousins, Dolly and Betty. The poetess still remembers how her mother would laugh at the photograph, remembering the sea holiday with a fondness as well as a sense of loss, because that time will never come back in the same way. The poetess feels nostalgic thinking about her mother and her laughter, which has become a thing of the past. The last stanza. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and as of this circumstance, there is nothing to say at all. Its silence silences. The poetess recalls that it is nearly 12 years since her mother has died. The poetess is consumed with grief but is left with no words to express her loss and her pain. She is totally absorbed in her memories of her dead mother. The painful silence of the situation leaves her speechless. The silence caused by her grief due to her mother's death makes the atmosphere gloomy. Here I would like to discuss some poetic devices used in this poem. First of all, we have allusion. Allusion means a reference or an incidental mention of something either directly or by implication. In this poem, the example of allusion is cardboard, which actually refers to the photograph. Second, we have alliteration, which means repetition of the initial letter of several words making the stressed syllable in a line of poem. There are a few examples of alliteration in this poem. Like if you go to the first stanza, fifth line, you will find there stood still to smile, which is an example of alliteration. Then in the last line of the first stanza, we have terribly transient. Next, in the last stanza, last line, we have silence silences. These are a few examples of alliteration that has been used in this poem. The third poetic device is transferred epithet, which means a description which refers to a character or event but is used to describe a totally different situation or character. The example of transferred epithet in this poem is transient feet, which actually refers to human feet, but here it is used to describe the lack of permanence of human life. We now have oxymoron, which is two opposite ideas in the device joined to create an effect. And the example of oxymoron in this poem is labored ease, where labored means with great difficulty and ease means comfortably. Though both of them have opposite meanings, yet here they have been clubbed together. Lastly, we have personification, which means something that is given the quality of a human being. And the example of personification in this poem is in the last line of the last stanza, that is, silence silences. For a more detailed description of other poetic devices, you can watch my video here. Till then, goodbye.